Hello, darlings. You're welcome to Z Star Africa, your home of sizzling drama recaps. Let's dive deep into the emotional twists, shocking secrets, confrontations, and jaw-dropping moments in Banni Chow upcoming episodes. From Manini throwing Banni out, to Yuven collapsing in pain, to Banni getting attacked in the dark, to Manini's secret pills being revealed, every moment is packed with suspense, heartbreak, and drama you won't want to miss. Please like and turn on your notifications for more of your favorites. It only gets more interesting. Let's dive in. It all begins with Banni arriving at Yuven's house with food and asking Devraj to bring Yuven to meet her secretly since his family has blocked her. But she is shocked to see Yuven happily eating from Niyati's hand. Niyati says they became close because she protected him. Devraj is surprised because Yuven normally never eats home-cooked food. Manini says they hired a new cook. Banni asks Niyati to feed Yuven the food she brought, but Yuven says he'll eat later. Banni feels heartbroken. Manini mocks her, saying Yuven has chosen Niyati, not Banni, and tells Banni she has no place there. Banni leaves in tears, and Devraj follows her. She tells him her heart is not convinced about Yuven's sudden change. Devraj agrees, but says maybe Yuven sees Niyati as a protector, just like he sees Banni. Banni tries to accept it. Meanwhile, Manini warns Viraj not to talk loudly about the plan, or people will find out what they did to Yuven. She tells Niyati to get Yuven ready for the Sangeet. Banni sees Niyati dressing Yuven and notices his shirt doesn't have the moon symbol he always wears. Yuven asks her how he looks. Banni quietly says he looks good. Niyati then asks Yuven if she can wear his mother's anklet, and he agrees. Banni gets upset and leaves crying. Hemant celebrates that Yuven ate from his hand. Myra and Pollock are surprised to see Yuven behaving normally. Niyati brings his moon accessory, and Devraj tells Banni that her bond with Yuven won't end. She can always ask for his help. Yuven and Niyati come downstairs. Banni tells Yuven she is leaving and doesn't know when they will meet again. Yuven ignores her at first, hurting her, but then he turns and tells her to come whenever he calls. Banni agrees and leaves with tears in her eyes. Manini thinks proudly about the tablets she has been giving Yuven to keep him calm, knowing they are harmful. She is happy that Banni is gone and that no one can protect him now. Manini announces she will dance to celebrate, and Hemant is thrilled. Devraj calls it all drama and walks out. Manini dances, but she notices the effect of the tablet wearing off. Viraj quickly changes the song and turns off the lights. Suddenly, Yuven cries out in pain, saying he feels dizzy. Niyati doesn't help him. Yuven collapses and falls unconscious. Hemant brings doctors to check on Yuven. Manini realizes the tablet's effect has worn off. Yuven wakes up holding his head, saying it hurts. The doctor tells the family it's just stress and asks them to give him some juice. Back home, Banni tells Vishnu she values her friendship with Yuven deeply and will fight for him no matter what. She says she can become fierce like Kali if anyone harms him. Niyati gives juice to Yuven, but he calls her a bad fairy and asks her to go away. He says he wants Banni instead. Devraj watches silently, worried. Niyati tells Manini they cannot give Yuven another dose of the harmful tablets. Manini insists she will find a way. Hemant says someone has to stay with Yuven overnight. Niyati volunteers, but Yuven refuses and chooses Myra instead. Manini feels embarrassed. Later, Banni talks to her mother's photo, sad about whether she will ever see Yuven again. At the market, Raja harasses Mommy, but Banni steps in and teaches him a lesson. Mommy promises Raja they will pay him tomorrow. When Banni asks how, Mommy lies that a relative is helping them, really thinking about Devraj's offer. Raja's friends tell him to go after Banni that night. Raja agrees and plans trouble for her. At the mansion, Yuven tells Myra he wants to talk to Banni before taking his tablets. Myra calls her. Yuven asks why she didn't come to see him. Banni says she did. Yuven asks why she didn't feed him. She reminds him he said he was full. Yuven is confused and says he can't remember anything. Suddenly, Raja cuts the power. The lights go off. Yuven calls Banni and asks if she's scared of the dark. Banni says no, because her friend Yuven is with her. Suddenly, she hears the door open and wonders who entered since her family went to a wedding. Raja grabs her, forcing her to drop her phone. Back at the mansion, Manini tries to calm Hemant by acting emotional and says she will cancel the marriage if he wants. Hemant says he trusts all her decisions and will even stay in London after the wedding so Yuven can start fresh. He walks away to take a call. Niyati asks Manini what's wrong. Manini says they must be careful because Hemant is doubting the marriage. Meanwhile, Yuven keeps trying to call Banni, but the call won't connect. He wants to go to her house to help her, but Myra says they can't leave at night. Yuven feels useless for not being able to help Banni. Manini secretly tells Niyati to give Yuven his medicine without Myra noticing. Myra then tries to sneak Yuven out. Manini catches them, but Myra lies that they're going to play hide-and-seek. Pollock distracts Manini, and Myra quickly takes Yuven outside. They reach the car, but Niyati stops them with medicine in her hand. Just then Hemant arrives. Myra tells him Yuven is suffocating, and they want to take him for a short drive. Niyati tries giving Yuven the tablet, but he drops it. Hemant asks Niyati to join him on a call with a UK psychiatrist since she is also a psychiatrist, and Niyati panics inside, knowing she is not. Back at Banni's house, Raja attacks her in the darkness. She tries to see who it is, but he hits her hard. She falls unconscious. On the road, Yuven and Myra are blocked due to roadwork. They ask a man for help, and he leads them toward Banni's house. Yuven and Myra reach her door and knock desperately, worried for her. Inside Banni's house, Raja lays unconscious Banni on the bed and looks at her with bad intentions. Outside, Yuven keeps shouting her name. Myra urges him to leave before they get in trouble and goes to get the car. Yuven's moon badge falls. When he bends to pick it up, he sees Raja and Banni through the window. He warns Raja to stay away, but Raja quickly shuts the window. Yuven thinks Banni is being attacked by a booth and remembers his grandfather's advice on how to drive evil away. He sees a bonfire nearby. Even though fire scares him because of his mother's death, Yuven gathers courage for Banni's sake. He lights a large fire outside her house to attract the neighbors' attention. People rush out. Raja sees the smoke and escapes. Myra and others arrive. Yuven cries, calling out for his mother. The crowd puts out the fire. Yuven begs them to save Banni. They break the door and find Banni unconscious and injured. Yuven listens to her stomach and says she's alive. Myra wants to call Devraj, but her phone is dead. Back at the mansion, Manini learns Myra took Yuven out and becomes angry. She asks Niyati if she gave him the tablet. Niyati admits she did. Banni wakes up and immediately asks where the man who attacked her went. She says he tried to ruin her respect. Yuven explains how he scared the booth away. Myra agrees that men like Raja are monsters. Banni hugs Yuven tightly and thanks him for protecting her honor. She calls him her superhero. Yuven nervously says she should scold him because he burned part of her house. Banni says she doesn't care, even if he burned the whole building, because he saved her life. Myra watches them and thinks they're soulmates. She even prays that Yuven will one day marry Banni. Suddenly, Banni notices Yuven burning up with fever. She calls a doctor. Myra finally checks her phone and sees 10 missed calls from home. She tells Manini that their car broke down. Banni pours water on Yuven to bring his fever down. Yuven tells her to stop, but Manini overhears his voice and asks if they are at Banni's house. Myra says Yuven is sick and the doctor is coming. Manini is shocked and panics, afraid a blood test will expose her. Banni notices broken glass on the floor and clears it so Yuven won't get hurt. Meanwhile, Manini tells Hemant she must go to Banni's house quickly before Banni calls someone who might reveal the truth. Hemant insists on going with her, so Manini hurriedly sends Niyati to wake Viraj. At home, Banni continues caring for Yuven. She accidentally drops a box of sindoor. As she gathers it, Yuven asks why she doesn't wear it. Banni explains that only married women do, and that a husband applies it during marriage, uniting a couple for 7 lifetimes. Yuven listens quietly. Banni adds that during the wedding, he will apply sindoor to Niyati. Yuven looks at Banni's sindoor-stained hands and says they look like lotus flowers. When she asks how he knows that, he says Krishna used to praise Radha the same way when she gave him butter. Just then, Myra says the doctor has arrived. The doctor checks Yuven. Hemant and Manini reach Banni's home and are uncomfortable with the neighborhood. Inside, the doctor reveals he is Abhinav Desai. Hemant is surprised and Manini questions why he's there. Abhinav explains that Banni once helped his father, so he always comes when she calls. Abhinav says Yuven's fever looks like a reaction to some medicine and they must run tests in the morning. He tells them to keep Yuven at Banni's house overnight because travel could make things worse. Manini protests about the lack of AC, but Abhinav says it's unnecessary. Manini pulls Myra aside and scolds her for lying. Myra defends herself and says Yuven saved Banni from a criminal like a true hero. Hemant overhears this, asks if it's true, and Banni confirms it. She thanks Yuven for saving her honor, and Hemant agrees, saying she's right. Yuven is a true hero. He asks Banni to get cold water to help lower Yuven's temperature. Manini and Hemant have a brief conversation. Manini says she's more worried about Yuven, while Hemant reminds her that respect is important for a girl too. Manini tells Viraj to distract Banni and Myra when the blood sample collector comes. When the collector, Prabhu, arrives, Myra leads him inside. Meanwhile, Raja tries to create a scene and mock Banni about her mother's past, but Banni handles him firmly, twisting his wrist. Mommy warns Raja to wait for payment and leave. Manini watches and smiles, pleased with the drama. Prabhu collects the blood sample from Banni, not Yuven, which traps Manini. She praises Viraj for following her plan, but Yuven regains consciousness. He asks where Banni is. Manini tries to calm him with a happy capsule. The next day, Manini gives Yuven milk and says he is healthy enough for the Mehendi ceremony. Myra asks if they can postpone the marriage, but Manini refuses, saying she'll cancel it if Yuven is even slightly unwell. Yuven agrees to continue. At the same time, Banni asks Yuven to eat khichdi, but Manini stops her and instead offers Banni money for her service to Yuven. Banni accepts it, performs a ritual to ward off evil, and gives the money to Viraj to distribute to the poor in Yuven's name. She gives Myra the khichdi to feed Yuven. Myra asks if Banni was the one who gave him the malai milk. Banni confirms, and they discuss how Yuven has been acting strangely. Banni reminds her that the blood test results will clarify everything. Meanwhile, Manini drives with Yuven in the car, and Banni thinks about buying vegetables. Yuven spots Raja and calls Banni, calling him a ghost. Banni recalls what happened yesterday and realizes Raja was the one who tried to harm her honor. Banni confronts Raja. The goon beside him unintentionally reveals the truth. Banni grabs a frying pan and starts hitting them, humiliating them in front of everyone and telling the street what Raja tried to do. She ties Raja to a pole, writes a new name on his forehead, and declares this is how people who try to take advantage of women should be treated. Other women join in, and the police arrive. Banni tells them Raja admitted trying to harm her. Raja warns her she's made a mistake as he is taken away. That's a wrap, fams. Much love.